This slideshow will let you know how to file LOMR or CLOMR to change flood insurance rate map, FIRM, the definition of LOMR, CLOMR, and FERM. In plain language, LOMR is a letter of map revision to modify an effective flood insurance rate map. We call it FERM, or Flood Boundary and Floodway Map, FBFM, or both. A conditional letter of map revision, we call it CLOMR, does not modify the flood insurance rate map, FIRM, when filed. However, it indicates whether the improvements, if built as proposed, would be recognized by FEMA. If you get CLOMR approved and the proposed project built and certified, you can file Letter of Map Revision, the LOMR, to get Flood Insurance Rate Map, FIRM, modified. We will explain this later. What is different in between LOMR and CLOMR? LOMR is for the existing condition. When you file LOMR, you need to use existing topography condition to run your hydrology and hydraulic analysis. This means your project, if you do the improvements, need to be constructed and certified, except by the agency. The agency could be a city, town, county, state, or federal government. CLOMR is for the future condition. You will file the CLOMR based on the approved construction plans. Once the construction project had been completed, you need to file LOMR again. At that time, your existing condition will be the as-built project condition. The advantage of file CLOMR is to save the time while dealing with FEMA. If you have CLOMR approved first, you can get LOMR approved by saving FEMA review time as long as you submit the as-built plan, LOMR application forms and pay the fee. If you have approved CLOMR, you can get LOMR approved within 3 months. This means you will concurrently perform CLOMR application and construction the project. Who can file LOMR or CLOMR? The community. A city, town, county, or state, the community, can file LOMR or CLOMR. Most of the time, the community are the Public Work Department or Flood Control District. If you are a landowner or the private land developer, you want to tell the community that you want to modify the FERM after your construction project completed. Because the community will be the applicant to file LOMR or CLOMR, you need to ask them what you need to do or what kind of information you need to provide them so that they will sign the application form. They will also review and approve your design and hydrology and hydraulic analysis. Remember, FEMA is the ultimate organization that will review and approve LOMR or CLOMR. You will also need to make sure they will approve what you are going to do. You, as an engineer on record, need to work with your client and explain to your client and community in details because they are the parties that can and will file LOMR or CLOMR. You also need to check what FEMA wants. When is the time to file LOMR or CLOMR? Time to file LOMR. Because LOMR application is based on the existing condition, all construction works related to LOMR application must have been complete. As-built plans have been filed and approved by the community agency. At this moment, your hydrology and hydraulic analysis and construction plan is the base of the existing condition. Time to file CLOMR. You file the CLOMR at design approved stage. At this stage, you may not start or complete construction yet. You will have time and can file CLOMR during the construction. If you build per approved plans, and file LOMR, FEMA will only need to review your as-built plans before approve your LOMR application. This will shorten your FERM revision time. How long the LOMR or CLOMR will be approved? It is depend on how complicated your project is. FEMA has set a review and response time. Their consultants will follow that rule. Every time when they make review comments, they will tell you how much time you have to respond to the comments. If you miss the deadline, you will need to refile again. This means you need to pay the fee again and it is not cheap. It is about $8,000 or more per filing. Some of the large projects could take years to get LOMR approved and FEMA revised. However, it will take a minimum 6 to obtain LOMR or CLOMR approval. What material should be in the application package? You need to prepare the application forms. It is pretty much straightforward. You also need to have applicant, the city, county or state, and licensed engineer sign the form. You need to have the application fee ready to go with the application forms. The application fee changes periodically and you can find the fee list in FEMA website. The application documents is the technical data. This is the data FEMA will review thoroughly. This document will also need to be approved by the applicant, the community. You need to have licensed engineer prepare this document. The next slide shows the table of contents for one of the project we prepared before. You will also want to include any supporting documents you want to FEMA to know. Remember, the reviewer is a consultant work for FEMA under a contract. Most of the reviewer has the same hydrology and hydraulic background as you, the licensed engineer. This is the table of contents for a report for one of the project we did. It contains all the basic information and data that FEMA reviewer would need to know. Overall information needed. Beside the application forms and fee, the technical data is the most important information that will decide whether your application will be accepted or denied. The technical data are your report, it is the document, your calculation and your drawings. The drawings will include the final modification that you want to have FEMA accepted, the final product. Let us take a look each element. The documents. You need to prepare the documents per the applicants. Remember, the applicant is the community, rules and standards. This is because they are the applicant. You also need to make sure what kind of information FEMA want to know. The documents should include, at least, the legal description of the area you want to change of its flood condition, hydrology and hydraulic calculation, approved construction plans, if you file CLOMR, or certified as-built construction plans, if you file LOMR, and modified FEMA flood insurance rate map, FEMA, drawing. The calculations. This is the key element to prove your request. You can find the FEMA pre-approved both hydrology analysis methods and hydraulic calculation methods from FEMA website. The website also lists pre-approved computer programs that FEMA will accept. If your community requires you use different methods or computer programs to perform your calculation, you can ask the applicant to help you to talk to FEMA. FEMA will review your methods and computer programs and decide whether or not those methods and programs acceptable by FEMA or not. Most of time FEMA will accept your local practice. Remember, change FEMA is to protect your local area safety. The drawings. Beside your hydrology maps, hydraulic analysis drawings and construction plans, you need to have the current FEMA to outline your study area and the proposed FEMA revision drawing. This is the final product. Your working map will include overlay the construction plan over the FEMA and BFE. Base flood elevation, data. Your FEMA revision map will show how you want to change the flood boundary. We will have a separate webinar to guide how to prepare this working map and FEMA revision map. Your revised flood insurance rate map, FIRM, will be part of LOMR approved letter. Technical information needed. We will briefly discuss the technical information needed in the report. We assume that you have experience to preparing the hydrology and hydraulic report for local agency for review and approval. We are not going to teach both hydrology and hydraulic analysis in here. However, we will prepare separate webinar for different hydrology and hydraulic analysis. The next few slides will discuss the technical data you need in the report. The rainfall data, generate discharge. You need to know how much discharge will be generated under 100 and 500 year frequency separately. The rainfall is the source of the discharge. NOAA website have 100 year frequency rainfall at most of location in the U.S. As long as you know your study area location, you should be able to obtain the data you need. You will use 100 year, 24-hour rainfall data for the flood study. For 500 year frequency rainfall data will be another story. Not until 2010, FEMA never asked for 500 year flood analysis. You may find the data from the same NOAA website. If NOAA does not provide that information, you will need to obtain from NSS data. There is a report and a computer program to help you to generate the data you need. We will release another webinar to guide you to obtain the both 100-year and 500-year frequency rainfall data in the future. The soil information, for hydrology use. Your local agency should provide the soil data for you to use in the hydrology analysis. The most common hydrology analysis method, rational method, Q equals C times I times A will need soil information. This soil information is particular for the hydrology use. Please check with your local agency that will review and approve your hydrology report. The methodology. For small area, both in acreage and flow length, you only need to use rational method to generate peak discharge at both 100-year and 500-year frequency. Check with your local agency to see how they define the small area and you will decide the rational method can be used or not. For a large area, the rational method cannot be used. You will need to use hydrography analysis to find the peak flow. As soon as you complete the hydrology analysis, you will need to do hydraulic analysis to find the water surface elevation either inside the pipe or in the channel, depends on the storm drain system you design or you are going to use. That water surface elevation will be called BFE, base flood elevation. Any area higher than 100-year rainfall frequency base flood elevation, the BFE, will be defined as out of 100-year flood plan. Most common hydraulic analysis computer programs are WSPG and HEC-RAS. No matter which hydrology and hydraulic computer program you are going to use, please check FEMA website first. If the programs you are going to use, which approved by your local agency, is not in the FEMA list, you will need to ask the applicant, the community, to request FEMA pre-approval before you use the program. Without doing that step, it may delay your LOMR or CLOMR approval. The limit. You want to limit your analysis within your project area and you want owner agree that he or she wants to modify the flood plan. You do not want to change the flood plan on the land that you do not get owner's permission to do so. If you do not watch this situation, you may have trouble with your professional license. This is like you do construction work on someone's property without getting owner's permission. The limit. You want to limit your analysis with the next slide show one of the CLOMR approved letter done by Mr. Powell. If you go to the FEMA website and use the case number 10090163R, you will find the entire letter. The next slide show one of the LOMR approved letter done by Mr. Powell. If you go to the FEMA website and use the case number 1609057P, you will find the entire letter. Need help? If you need help or have question regarding this presentation, you can contact us as shown in the last slide.